Big is right.
Yeah, dude.
All that being in big trouble is it means Bruce is going to make you apologize for something.
I'm not making anyone apologize. It's just the day of reckoning. Is here.
Welcome back to the Comedy Store Doorcast. I'm your host, Luke Schwartz. We have a really good group again with us. I didn't realize I had all you exactly on a few weeks ago.
Yeah, dog.
We did.
But until I texted you guys and I was like, oh, there's already history in this group chat. Okay. So welcome back to my left, Joel Jimenez.
Yeah, hell
Props.
yeah. Rest in peace, Judy Tenuta.
Across from him, Morgan Mizell.
Yes.
Yeah. And next to him is Bruce Gray.
Hey, everybody. It's good to be back. I appreciate all the kind words you've all been sending. If you like the podcast, leave a 5-star review. Send an email over to...
You can tip at the door, and thank you for tipping at the door. I have gotten some messages, and thank you for reaching out. I appreciate that. Ivan tipped $20 at the door. I don't know if I said him last week, but Mike and Dana K. Mike and Dana K, thank you so much.
Big
Comrade
Mike?
and Caitlin E. Thank you for tipping and helping us eat some stuff. You can also see us every Wednesday in the belly room at 10:30 because we fought for it, and I think we are keeping it.
Dude. I fucking went to bat for the entire fucking gang, dude.
Yeah. Bruce is great. Bruce is an all-star. Just all-star.
Enough of the preliminaries.
He made Richie apologize.
Bruce's fighting style is email.
Shout out Big Bad Brad, always dropping money in the bucket. Shannon and
shout out
Mike
Shannon
Z.
and Mike, dude. I saw them. They were in Ontario.
Gino from Speedweed, thanks for always dropping by, spreading love, doing all that.
Can I say that real quick? That was cool that a bunch of people from here came to see you guys. Went to see Jesse, and
and by proxy of seeing Jesse, also got to see me.
Exactly, which was a
they got
special treat.
a twofer.
Thanks for supporting store people in another city.
Yeah, dude. All right, enough of the preliminaries.
Yeah.
Is this on my camera?
No, it's the other one that's not.
It's one right next to
Last week on this podcast, I was besmirched by a fucking ogre comedian named Matt Lockwood, and he said, quote, that years ago did a podcast with him and Benjamin Avery, and that there was a bit that they did on the podcast, and then Lockwood said 2 days later he saw me doing that bit on stage. And the context is that
I remember this.
This is not correct, and this is besmirchment, this is slander, this is libel, I could sue him if I wanted to, dude.
A lot of synonyms.
And so, exactly. But here's what actually happened, is the riff these little fucking chuckleheads did on the podcast. At the Ice House, what I would do is, in between, to keep the energy up in the room, I would pull out a bunch of pieces of paper with bullshit jokes on them and say, oh, I found somebody's notebook in the fucking thing. Look, let's go through and see this. I found a notebook around here. Let's see what these jokes are. Mm-hmm. And I would do stupid jokes out of that.
The jokes that you thought of that were bad.
No, not even ones that I thought of. Other ones that people gave me for the thing. So literally like a joke of like, hey, the government put a chip in my brain. Hey, but that's okay because it's Cool Ranch. And so
sick.
That is the attitude that this little fucking these little chuckleheads riff was being done on stage, where the way it was presented on this podcast is Lockwood is just waltzing around, sees me on stage in the middle of my thing, be like, hey, it's a cool thing. What if this happened? No, that's not it. That's not part of my fucking act. What the fuck?
Do you remember the joke?
Yes.
Was it the chip joke?
No.
Okay.
Should be.
Chip was pretty
It was a bit I've done, but that I've done even here, fucking around, and I've never been like, this is a great bit, isn't it? This is my bit. Where I added tags onto the bit because I was like, this is funny. But I've a million times I've said, oh yeah, Matt and Ben Avery came up with this. That's why I'm distancing myself. And the joke was that, a brother could never do 9/11 because a brother would be showing up on 9/12 and shit. So that was the bit that they were doing. These two guys, I don't want any part of that.
Uh-huh.
That's not me. I don't write that kind of junk.
It barely sounds like you, yeah.
And so...
I mean, it hits all the points for Matt. 9/11, a little bit of racism.
And so, exactly. So
saying brother the way Richie does. Saying brother the way Richie does, definitely.
That's the bit that he said on this podcast he saw me doing on stage. And the way he presented it was that I was in front of people being like, man...
Talent scouts and
y'all
everyone's
know a brother could never do that. But that's literally the attitude that was given on this podcast last week. So I just wanted to clear my name.
Okay. Name pretty much cleared, I think.
Good.
Yeah.
Until Matt's on the podcast.
Oh, dude, bring his ass down here if he could fit in the studio. Might have to get a third table in here.
He was here last week.
Barely.
No, he was in here.
This is a big humble every Tuesday.
No,
wherever you
it's
find
been pretty
podcasts.
good recently.
Thank you, Luke. I appreciate that.
And I forgot you hosted the Ice House till you said that right now.
Yeah.
Those are like
I
that was
listen
a
to the
while
first
ago.
half of it quite often.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
It's
It's a
like
good half.
cool.
That's a good half.
It's great.
I love nothing more than two
And then I
separate
get somewhere.
conversations on a
yeah.
podcast.
And then I forget to,
So Luke-
I've been doing those recently. It's been pretty fun because I like to try and do it
Create
and follow-
chaos when
yeah.
you're the Joker.
No.
No.
Okay.
He's like Commissioner Gordon's assistant.
So let's
Bingo. Got one.
All right, let's get into the next segment on the podcast. This is Luke's sex talk. Luke,
Oh my God.
Luke, you been fucking?
I have been working here a lot recently.
Oh, ain't no pussy in that.
Morgan and I worked a couple shifts together.
Yeah, we did. I had fun though.
I did not have so much fun.
I didn't work.
You didn't look like it.
It was a hard time working with with my friend
Just say his name.
Hugo.
Okay.
He's a lovely guy who's a little bit in space.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Galaxy. if you
And
will.
he's
spaceman.
that's his orientation, and that's how it goes. He's space oriented.
What do you do that was wrong?
Just a little too gentle in handling the customer, and just kind of like walking without a definite plan of where to go in the original room on a sold out Thursday night. Need to get people in the door.
You know what's crazy about Hugo is he's renamed all the sections in the main room. So if I'm like, oh, where's the heckler? He'll be like, Saturn. And I'm like, where's Saturn? He's like, that section over there.
Did you find someone's notebook?
I was gonna say that sounds like a Lockwood joke, dude.
But my man is a beautiful guy and just is a little green.
Yeah.
And just wasn't given the spiel at first, and was just like walking people in while I'm in the booth, and I was like, "Are you not telling them?" He goes, "Aren't you?" I go, "No."
These
Never
fucking
has that been. What do
animals.
yeah.
Ugh.
It just was a little
At
disappointing.
one
and he
point,
said,
Luke goes, "I'm a little mad right now," which would be a little mad for anybody else, but for Luke, you could tell he was mad.
I wasn't that mad.
You were mad.
Man.
Yeah, I was
More
a little,
than a little.
No, I think I was a little mad. I was smiling and telling him. I wasn't like screaming and raging at him.
You should be able to give people
Yeah, but you don't
demerits.
scream and rage.
No, not in front of you.
When was the last time you screamed at somebody?
I scream at myself with infrequency.
Okay.
Like,
But like in your head or out loud?
No, out loud a couple times a month. I hit the steering wheel. I'm that guy.
And you
Just about
and then,
other shit.
And then you're like, God damn, you sound like a middle linebacker.
Why?
Just screaming at yourself.
Oh, I just,
What was the last thing you screamed at yourself out loud about?
probably God damn it, just mad.
No, not the word. I'm saying,
Oh.
what were you mad about?
You asking me questions like this on my own podcast. So I was probably like, why do I let him steer the conversation on my own podcast?
Man, you know what's really crazy is where we keep the trash bags.
I
mean-
actually, where we keep the trash bags, it made sense, but we have changed the bags recently, and I don't like them. And over the past year, they're not as long, and I don't like them. This is what I'm telling you. I want to talk about that stuff.
Hey, he had a take though.
And I respect
He's like, I'm glad you brought that up.
Nothing but the ultimate respect to my captain, dude.
Richie has the hallway door to the main room wide open now.
I did see that last night.
And I was like, oh, we're doing this now. This is new. I'm just inquiring. He goes, yeah, we've always done this. I was like, what? And he goes, yeah, no, we've done it ever since the fire guy told us not to. Fire marshal. Probably he didn't say fire guy. I'm sure he said fire marshal.
He probably said like his full name.
No, he probably said
yeah.
like, hey, like Rick came down here.
Yeah.
Do that. No.
Yeah, my guy at the fire department. Yeah.
The other night,
And he's like, we've always had it open. I go, okay. I don't know why you're mad at me. It's not, you're lying.
the other night, like last week, a guy had a little medical issue. I don't know, maybe he took too many edibles, drank too many soda pop.
The guy in the
yeah,
wheelchair.
that-
with
No, the guy
The guy in the main room.
The guy in the
right?
main
yeah,
room.
that
yeah.
was crazy.
And the ambulance came, but I'm not sure. Richie made it seem like he called a guy because he was like, yeah, Terry, he's going to be like right down here. And I was like, Terry. And then like the ambulance shows up and this guy has like a, the toolbox or whatever that the ambulance people carry.
Med kit, sure.
Med kit. And he gets out and he's like, literally, this isn't exactly him, but it may as well be. He's like, Richie! He's like, man, you always calling me down here. And it's like unbelievable. And then he's like, yeah, he's right back over here.
Fuck.
And it was this guy who was like drifting in and out of consciousness.
Yo, I thought that guy was done.
I thought that guy was not.
Were any of you guys here the night that Willie's friends came?
Oh my God, dude! Willie has the coolest
No.
friends in the world.
Okay, so
Simon?
Yes. So apparently he used to work with them. They're not friends. They're like acquaintances from work. But it was a guy and a girl. When they got here, they were already a little bit like twisted. And I walk into the OR and she's kind of just like, I don't know if she was sitting on the guy's lap or she was like slumped over.
Sitting
And
on
I was
his
like,
face.
Yo, yeah, I wish. I was like, is she all right? And they were like, she's fucked up. And then later I hear the fire department,
intervention training.
the fire department came, and I guess she was like unresponsive in the bathroom. But then like once the fire department came in, she's like, Mom, she was all right. So then
An animatronic.
yeah. Oh, dude, she was okay. It ends with something. I gotta remember that. But so then this guy, she was just so fucked up, man. They finally get them out, and they're walking over, and then she passes out again on the ramp of the Ondas, and she's sitting like an evil doll. Like,
Yeah, I did say. Yeah. She was like,
yeah. So this guy had to he got a fucking room at the Ondas because he couldn't get her in a car or anything.
That's probably a good move, just to have her throwing up on her side in the hotel
you don't have to
bathroom.
got her in
it
the
up.
room,
Yeah.
and then he came back and he ordered an adios, motherfucker. He's like, yeah, I need this. He's like walking around with a blue drink. I'm like, didn't you just see what alcohol does? Like,
is there not a hotel bar? There is. I know there's a
Yeah.
But
hotel.
also
you had
the
to come back
fucking
here.
stupidest drink ever. Like that's
Yeah.
cool when that was my first drink when I turned 21. Like
Oh,
it's like
dude.
you don't order that as an adult. Like get a whiskey. on the
Anytime
rocks or
I hope
something.
she's
that I've
okay.
worked in bars or
They were
restaurants,
fine, but yeah.
anytime I've worked in bars or restaurants and somebody orders an adios motherfucker, I'm like, you fucking scumbag.
Just go no.
It's just like, it's never like a guy in a full tuxedo is like, oh, we
Yeah.
look good.
Can I have an AMF, please? Yeah.
Adios, motherfucker. It's just it's always just the gnarliest.
Yeah, I one of those. My boy's gonna have an Incredible Hulk.
People do order them though a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And like whatever they do, they're like, "Can you guys do like adios,
It's a blue
motherfuckers?" And we're
Long
like,
Island,
Yeah,
basically.
we could.
Yeah,
do it.
yeah. What's in it? So
It's a Long
It's
Island
everything.
carousel.
what's
Yeah.
a Long Island? It's
It's
Every-
just a mixture of every alcohol.
Oh.
You know how
Tequila,
a
vodka,
soda machine, you go,
gin.
yeah, like a suicide. Yeah,
it's,
whatever.
That's what should be called a suicide.
yeah.
Yeah.
You should kill yourself if you order them.
I'd never
You're on
heard
your
of
way.
an adios motherfucker before, like a week ago, and it's one of those things where you hear that term. Like I heard it on a show, and then someone else was talking about it, and now it's here. That's pretty.
Yeah, I'm gonna start calling him a bye bitch.
Yeah.
All right.
I found somebody's notebook with that. joke.
Yeah, I was waiting for. I had groups on. I mean, God, I had a tough audience week this week. Thursday and Saturday were really like intense. You were working.
Were you in the
Saturday
main room
was
on
hard.
Saturday?
No, I was in the OR on
Okay.
Saturday, and I had guests from Marin, I had guests from Mike Young, I had guests from Kaylee, I had guests from WME, I had guests from 2 other people.
Party
Maybe
of
Richie.
15, party of 9, like
Yes.
whatever.
You were
so many.
Oh yeah.
You were in there with the Galaxy?
No, I was in there
That
with
was
Joel.
Thursday.
It was so traumatic I forgot. I blanked and I just remembered the people coming in. I had a party of 15, a party of 12, a party of 9, a couple parties of 6, and all those guest lists. And I just like it kicked my fucking ass that night.
Damn.
It was into, and everyone, I mean,
yeah. You know when like a big group comes and they're like, well, 2 of us are parking still, whatever.
Yeah.
Like
I just went
we're
whatever.
trying.
I got him in.
Oh, I send them right back out, dude.
Yeah, well, there was like two. It was seated like the first 2 rows, and then Richie came over and was like,
Richie's yelling.
"What's going on?" I was like, "We're
As
trying. It's a big group." He goes, "It sucks." He's like, "Get him in there," and I was like, "I'm literally trying
you
right
can't,
now."
You can't. I cannot do that, Richie. You're gumming up the works a little bit, and he's good when he doesn't micromanage.
Yeah.
He's,
Also, he was on his phone watching the game, and Luke goes, "Hey, Peter's in town." He said, "Not to be on your phone." And I was like, "Oh,
You think that's funny? God damn it.
I love comedy.
Dude, Richie, he called
Shut
me
it.
away. I was like putting drinks on the tray on Friday, maybe, and he called me away and he's like, "Come check this out real quick." I was like, "All right, I got a second."
just watching
He takes
porn."
out his phone. No, he shows me his phone, and it's like a highlight tape, like football. And like me and him talk about his son all the time and how it's going. I was like, "Oh, is that Rocco?" I was like, "That tape looks fucking terrible." He's like, "No, this is me, dude." He's like, I found found my old clips and sent my friend. He's put them together for me.
That's so funny.
I think it was like let the bodies hit the floor was the song.
it's gotta be,
It was so. I was like, why are you showing me this?
His friend is Tony down here cutting them together.
It's like it's not even done yet.
Tony's in the
booth.
cutting together Richie's high school highlight tape.
Richie's just micromanaging behind. I'm like, no, don't cut it there.
He knows how to cut.
We should hook that up to the. Once it's done, we should hook that up to the TV in the front bar and just fucking run it on a loop. Run it on a loop
He'll
all
just be
night
sitting
long.
in the middle table, one tear coming down.
That's pretty good, huh?
We have it on the,
Or
on
just
the
like instead
projector
of
in the main room.
commercials.
Yeah, he was so little too. It was so funny.
We watched the game in his highlights.
Oh,
Let the bodies hit.
it's perfect, dude. It's so great.
Oh man.
I can't believe Richie's never been a guest on the podcast still.
I've asked him. He has not expressed much interest. I'll say
no
polite.
shit.
Well,
You want to talk about editing, cutting shit out?
There needs to be
10
a
minutes.
Richie cast.
I don't know if they're. I think we come up with that sometimes, and you're like, there needs. I'm like, I don't
I
know.
Then he'll be
Everything.
sitting there and talk for 5 more minutes, just like, yeah, we can't put that anywhere.
Better help. Better help.
Shut up. Yeah.
You want to? All right. Online therapy. Use code Suck It Up.
I had.
I wasn't here like pretty much for like most of last week. I worked at what day did I work last week? There was a big, huge party in the main room of like 85 people.
Holy
It was like
shit.
some company that I mean,
What the fuck?
truly,
That's a retreat,
and we put them
yeah.
all in the very back, and it was it was. You know when you like see a group, you're like, man, no, there was like no diversity whatsoever. It was literally 85 of the whitest people I've ever been around in my entire life.
from Bakersfield.
You're
You're from Bakersfield.
I wish it was the type of like white group of white people that are gonna like break bottles over each other's heads, but it was like just like rich white corporate
Corny ass
people.
fucking
Like,
white.
Lots of beer and wine.
yeah, it was fucking awful.
Yeah, at least
Oh,
the
sold
whites in
lots of beer and
Bakersfield
wine.
have like edge, you know.
Okay.
There's a lot of Mexicans out there too, which is I've learned with Bruce's Mexican accent when he does it's pretty legit for like for that region. Like you can tell he's been around
That
some of these
region.
guys. Yeah.
Sure. He has a regional dialect for
Yeah.
sure that he's mastered.
I'm a master of regional dialect.
Accents that
region
don't
is
travel.
this big.
It's like literally
Don't
impressions that don't work anywhere else
Yeah.
except in the basement of the
Yeah,
comedy
dude, I could
store.
do a Denver Mexican accent. I could do every.
That's just a
genre.
white guy. A Denver.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, that's funny. I was here, but I think Willie Simon was working the back door, and it was Eddie Firth's like show where it's a challenge. You can't.
Oh
laugh.
yeah, it's that no laughing show.
If you laugh, you lose.
And I've seen some of the lineups. That's not going to be an issue. I literally haven't seen any of them.
Eddie goes, hey, he's got like celebrities on. He goes, hey,
What kind of celebrity?
he goes, hey,
Leslie.
to Willie at the back door. He's like, hey, Ryan Philippe is coming in.
Oh, yeah.
Or Ryan
Phillippe.
Ryan Phillippe.
Right.
Yeah, there it is.
And I heard this, and I go, does he mean Philippi? And then I was just like, he would say it if he meant him, right? Probably, right? And then and Willie goes, okay, Ryan Philippe. And then he come, and then I'm just there later, and Ryan Philippi comes walking up. And he goes, I'm Ryan Phillippe, and he goes, Philippe? And Willie's like, just Philippe? Is that you?
I got
Ryan
your name.
Philippe?
I got it written right here.
That's very good. Very good.
No, that's not your name. Sorry, man. I don't know.
And I'm doubled over right behind him, just laughing at him. And he's like, yeah, I guess you're on the list, but it's set. And the other dude who was they had two dudes with him. One was Breckin Meyer, the guy who's in every 90s movie, and a taller dude. And I was like, they're good.
Yeah, yeah.
Like some star, like all they're okay. And then I was like, I just walked him up and I told him the story. I was like, I heard him mispronounce your name twice, and I was like, I didn't think it'd be you. And then you're standing there and it's happening to your face. I'm sorry for laughing, man. He goes, I'm on a press tour and it's just half the people still don't know how to pronounce my goddamn name. Like, yeah.
You're like, damn, this is part of the press tour? God damn.
I was really in my mind.
Fire your PR person.
I was going, wow, yeah.
You're really getting out there, pal.
Yeah. If I'm interacting with you,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, my
this.
press guy's name is Richie.
Yeah. Yeah, he said he's got me on something called the Doorcast. I don't know what the fuck.
I fucking wish.
Yeah, and if you want to promote anything, you can come on the Doorcast. And our dozens of listeners will follow you, support you.
That same thing happened similar at the back door when I very first started, and it was like the first like Chappelle night I worked, and like it was just a fucking nightmare. And Lockwood was at the back door, and there's like of course a million people on the guest list, and then they're like, "Don't let anybody in who's not on the thing," and then they'll be like, "Sorry, my 150,000 friends who aren't on the guest list are here, and you have to fucking suck all their dicks." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, fine." And then so I'm in the front, and there's like dude comes up, and he has like black dude, he has like a bunch of like stuff on, and he's like in a kind of in a
Wait, time out. Define stuff.
Jewelry.
no, he had like a hoodie on and glasses and like a hat, like he like really was like
Yeah, okay.
down whatever, and like he was like kind of in a hurry, and he was like, "Oh, I'm going to Dave's show," and I was like, "All right, I'll walk you to the thing." I'm like in a hurry, I'm like, "I'll walk you to the thing, I'll check in, it'll be good," and then I go back there to Lockwood. I was like, "Oh, this guy wants to check in," and Lockwood was like, "Oh, okay," like same thing in a hurry. He's like, "What's the name?" And the guy's like, "Talib Kweli," and then Lockwood's like, "Yeah, I mean, you're not on here,
Yeah.
but it."
Yeah.
Like, of course,
Barack Obama. Barack Obama?
Barack Hussein Obamacare.
dude. Same thing happened whenever I was here when I first started, and Questlove came up. I was on the patio, and he was going to the main room, and it was like I've never seen Questlove not behind the drum kit.
Yeah.
So like seeing him,
You thought it was Quincy?
Quincy's friend. Yeah.
his lower body is huge. Like he has a huge like mom ass, and like and he's like his lower. I never see anything like below the
One of the
fucking
best.
drum kit. So then I'm like walking with him. It was never JT, the security guard, older black dude, still worked here.
Yeah.
And I was like walking him in. I like squeezed him and pop by, and I was like, "All right, you could just go in here." And then JT looked at me. I was like, "Hey, that's Questlove, right?" And he was like, Yeah. And I was like, but it's like exactly him, and I just had never seen below.
Just go like this next
No,
time.
maybe he looked like fucking Squidward when he ate all the Krabby Patties and his ass got fucking.
No, man, he looks great now.
Whatever,
Yeah.
dude. Come on.
I carded Tyler the Creator.
Sick.
He was with like 3 black dudes, and he was like, they were all very chill and nice. And I was like, yeah, let me just see ID. And I was like, oh, hey, man, come on, hey, at you. Oh,
What did he say? Did he say anything about giving you his ID?
4 years ago. Oh, he just was like, here.
Yeah.
That's
He had his
cool.
own ID,
That's
and he was
fucking
super
tight.
He
famous
has
still.
an ID.
Yeah, exactly.
You would expect him not to have an ID?
Some famous people are just like too famous to do whatever. Some
Yeah.
people don't carry their own shit.
I go
that's
back
fair.
and forth. Sometimes I'm like, I'll ask somebody for it just because
I asked Minnie Driver one time.
I just can't believe they walk around the world thinking nobody's,
I was like, it is her.
But I also, I don't know.
It's a-
like,
Yeah, exactly.
because whenever I worked at a deli that Jay Leno would go into all the time, the first time he ever came in, I was like, "What's the name for the order?" And he
Hey,
was
can I
like,
get a pound?
It's like Jay Leno. Yeah.
"No," I was, but I'm like, "What's the name for the order?"
It's Jay Leno.
It's like a pack place, and he was like Jay, and I was like, "Oh, I mean, okay," like because I don't know, I just. I'm not gonna be like, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
you eat sandwiches? No fucking way!" And I'm like, "Dude, he's eating a sandwich," and I was like, and it was packed. So I was like, "What's the name?" Maybe he wants to be. I don't know. He is a very recognizable guy.
Yeah,
But
maybe he's
he's
saying
He goes,
it with the different
K.
names so they didn't.
like, yeah. It's just man. Yeah, he would
Then you
crush
guys worked
meatball subs.
the Sarah Mello show the other week?
No.
No?
Where was that?
I think it was like 2 Mondays ago, maybe.
Up in the belly?
No, it was in the main room.
She always
Oh, no,
does.
no, no. I remember it
But
happening.
they're always like events. You know what I
Okay.
mean? There's like a lot
She's
of people
got
here.
someone.
Yeah. So Richie's like, you need to go to the back room to like take order, or the green room take order. So I go back there. I walk in. It's like Ray J is just standing in the center.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, just like giving a TED talk about like Cameo or some shit.
Wow.
And I'm looking around. Quincy was there. It's all these people I respect, just like sitting there so intently listening to him. Oh my and I was like, what the fuck is going
So
on?
Ray
right now?
Khan.
Yeah, I was like, you guys, what is this?
Yeah.
Damn.
I
don't
get in
fall out of
trouble. I don't
your
listen in those situations. I kind of laugh or walk
I
away.
was.
Like,
I made eye contact with Quincy, just smiling at him, like, "What the fuck are y'all doing?"
Yeah, and
right
Quincy's
now?
like, dude, this guy smashed. This guy he smashed Kim
Yeah.
Kardashian.
What was it like? Yeah.
That's all Quincy.
I will never not remember Speedy breaking his glasses.
Who's Speedy?
Ray J, when he did the
Oh,
famous internet video, Speedy Morgan.
yeah.
He broke his. He goes, "They're unbreakable, Speedy." He goes, "You can't break them."
Yeah.
Yes, I know what you're talking
Yeah. And he broke them
He was
right.
broken. He's like, "Damn."
He goes, I don't care.
Yeah, he's fucking got
It's
money.
I watch it annually. There's annual viewings of it, maybe twice a year. When it comes up.
This is like a lot of people maybe don't know this guy, but Lee Wanell was here. He's like he wrote Saw, the original Saw movie, and he's one of the guys that's like chained to the. I think he's the bathtub guy. Damn. Anyway,
was
here.
he being spooky?
Nah, he was just a cool,
It is
fucking
October.
normal ass
I mean,
dude.
yeah.
But
It's when he comes and visits comedy clubs.
yeah,
Who else was it? There a bunch of people were here this week. I had one, but then I made a bad joke and I stumbled. Over
sometimes
myself.
it's worth it.
Who was here? Oh, Frank was really excited about Bayside.
Oh, yeah,
here.
yeah.
The band that is.
Bayside sucks ass.
I don't know from Bayside, so.
Dude,
Yeah.
what's funny is I think that same night I posted on Instagram, but there was this dude, there was this guy after because I'd hosted the 10:30 show on Saturday in the Belly Room, and I was leaving and it was late. And there was this dude in the front who was just fucking wasted, and he was just blasting. Do you guys know Chiodos, the pop punk band?
No.
He was just blasting. Or no, actually, I said Chiodos originally, but it was actually Seosin.
Okay,
That song's like You're not alone, and he's literally blasting it like this in his thing. He's like,
I saw that on your story.
The most alone person ever at that
and
time.
then Willie said that guy
this guy.
that guy come in as a solo, and he got sat at a table with 3 chicks who they sat there for a few minutes and then came back to Willie and was like, "Yeah, we'll get like a bench or something."
What would Willie have said to them?
Well, he was like, "What? Well, that guy seems awesome. He seems like a fine guy." No, Willie also does this thing. Children, he goes, "What the fuck?" He's like, "What the fuck?" Like,
I thought it was like really like his just stage cadence, but then I talked to him and I was like, oh, this fucker talks like this.
yeah, it's funny whenever to think about Willie's accent and be like, "Yeah, he's Hawaiian. That's how everybody in Hawaii talks."
Yeah.
Like Norm Macdonald.
Yeah. Everybody's hanging loose. Are you?
Look at the waves, brother.
Just killer waves, dude.
Damn.
Yeah, Willie was saying that you can get your ass kicked in Hawaii.
Oh, I bet, dude.
for
Yeah.
sure.
If you fuck around, you get your ass kicked.
Dude.
And every kind of flip flops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's, I'm recycling a joke, but it is hard to run from the law in flip flops. Anyway,
I don't like wearing them for that reason. Not for that reason, but like in case you have to run. I never liked them.
I would
Scary to
rather.
me.
I want to run barefoot. If I'm running anywhere, I want to get fucking.
Traction. You think you could have better traction than glass? Yeah,
I turn
yeah.
into the Liver King whenever I need to run, dude.
One pine cone, you're caught.
Yeah.
You're,
One pebble, you're fucked.
yeah.
Yeah, I hate those fucking freaks that run barefoot. Though those people that are like, have you seen these people?
I know what you're talking
Have you
about.
seen these people? These fucking freaks. Have you seen these people?
But there's like people online who are like they're big There's also freaks now who are big proponents of walking on all fours.
what?
I swear,
I have seen those
and it's not even
Yeah,
like a
I've
sex thing.
seen
It's
the
like
video.
they're
walking around.
Yeah, they're like the Liver King guy.
That's deep.
I don't know.
evolution.
I don't know the
100%.
You don't know the Liver King? You're not living by the 9 ancestral tenets?
Whoa.
Oh no! Please
What?
tell us what is the.
No, I don't know.
I would rather we skip that.
I don't know. Do you remember
Different
the Liver King?
podcast.
He just was a guy. He's like a
Mother
really
Earth,
a really
and,
buff
like,
guy
yeah.
who's
No.
he's a freak, but he's been on a bunch of podcasts and stuff. He's big online. He's just like this buff freak who like only eats like raw
Grass
meat
and-
No,
and,
like liver. No grass.
like liver
Yeah.
and shit. He's a
Yeah, I know what you're
liver-
talking about.
Yeah, dude. We're following the 9 ancestral thing, and that's what it
jumping.
says you have to do. And I don't remember what they are, but
Is that
it's
why you
like,
both look so good?
Yeah. Dude, I'm living by the
These are
ancestral
shit.
tenets. I had,
Sorry.
Bruce, hey, you have to fucking do this.
no, dude, you know, different people have different ancestral tenets, dude.
Yeah, no,
It's not. Yeah.
Well, your ancestors were cholesterol
Yeah,
farmers.
I ate 2 pieces of pizza before this, and I was like, "This is just what my ancestors would have wanted." You know?
Hey, you're a hunter-gatherer, man. You're out there.
Yeah, that guy, he sleeps on a wood plank because he said that
What?
you don't need a
course.
mattress.
Oh, dude. So the best thing is he has like fake abs. Like they're
think
obvious.
they're fake?
Yeah, they're ab implants. I don't know. He kind of like jokes about it all the time. And
Weird.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, no.
I thought he was just jacked.
No,
Damn,
it's not
I gotta
natural, bro.
check this guy out. I hate. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm over those people.
Then why check it out?
Because I like to hate watch things. I
Yeah.
think, which is bad. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Luke, do you hate watch anything?
Comedy.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's pretty upfront about it.
All the
We
time.
watched some comedy in about 2 hours now.
Luke, what's the
I love comedy. That's
how about this? How about this? What's the worst joke you guys have heard this week, or in the past recently? Because I got a good one.
Okay, go.
There was a guy who, we'll talk about him.
That's
after.
fine.
This is what we could do. We could do it without saying anyone's name. This is the joke the guy did. Sold out belly room. And it was received not at all. And so he told the joke, and he was like, "Man, yeah, when I was a kid, all we could watch was the news and the Cosby Show, and you never wanted to watch the news because on the news it was all murders." Or no, it was all rapes and assaults. But little did we know that was also happening on the Cosby Show. Dead silence.
I think I know who this
From just
I
nothing.
think it was an upstairs guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was in the belly room.
I know who it is.
One of
I can
those
guess.
upstairs guys.
I heard a comedian got into it with some hecklers after they were doing not great comedy, and then did a trans joke that was not. It's not the most sensitive take in the world or anything like that, and hecklers are like, this is bad. This is really bad. I can't believe that this is happening. Like, shut up, you suck. And then they got into it a little bit.
Where was this at?
In the OR, and the comedian said, "You're misunderstanding. I'm not a bad person. I'm a bad comedian. Get the fuck out of here."
That's what they said.
Yeah. That was
very
like very interesting.
Very self-aware.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
I'm a good person, but that was
respect
bad.
that a lot.
I'll admit that.
Yeah, I'm not a bad person. I'm a bad comedian.
Well, dude, this heckler got kicked out the other night whenever I was working last week because they were in a booth with 3 other guys and they were Australian, and she called a comedian on stage a misogynistic cunt, who was actually a guy, which is interesting. But
That's not
then it was full, and then of course the guy's like, "You are a bitch." Like just like really like laid into her, like you are the cunt. That was really laying it in there.
Was it working?
No, the crowd was pretty wet. It's like, "Hey."
I'm pretty oi right now. That's not very clever.
The crowd was on his side, but they were still like, "Oh, you kind of giving her the business." And then so she got kicked out, pretty much under her by her friend. Her friend was a nice guy. He had,
Like let's just leave.
yeah,
It's
and
not
then
gonna be a good night.
at first,
Not for us. It's fine.
At first, she was like, "No," and then her friend was like, "Come on," and then the guy came up to me and he was like, "God, mate, I was having such a good time. My friend's just like a real sensitive cunt." Like she's like, but that's how they say friend. So
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
and so he was like, "I was having a great time." And I was like, "Well, you don't have to leave." I was like, "She can leave," and he's like, "No, that'll cause more trouble."
Yeah, he's
And then they got onto the front, and she was had Ryan come over because she wanted a refund, and Ryan was like, "Huh." And then I was like,
That's very, very good, Ryan. The man of he talks so much. He won't shut up. He's just a chatterbox.
And he
runs his mouth just a mile a minute. Never says a word.
But because I was standing right there because I was like being nosy mostly, but I was also there. And then she was like explaining herself, and I was like, "Yeah, but you yelled out." I was like, to reduce it to completely, I was like, "You're a heckler. You were told I was like, that's the first thing you were told when you came in is you're not allowed to heckle." And I swear to God, she looked me directly in the eyes and goes, "So?" And I literally laughed and I was like, "Okay, all right, that's all." And then she wanted her money back, and Ryan gave her this like 2.5 minute speech about hopefully this is a good life lesson. And then he legitimately sounded like one of the sharks from Shark Tank because he went this, that, and the other thing. And for that reason, I'm not giving you a refund. Have a great night. And then he just walked away.
Oh god!
And I was like, dude, fuck yeah.
Oh man, that's great.
And then Richard, I was there with Zach Chavaloni, and then Richard, I don't remember if it's Sarvate or Sarvate.
Yeah.
He walked up and didn't realize the lady was right behind him, and he's like, just his demeanor, he was like, the most interesting thing just happened. And he's like loudly talking. He's like, the most interesting thing just happened. So this lady, she yells out and calls Eric Griffin a cunt. And then,
I had a feeling.
and then Zach's like, she's right there. She's right behind you. She's right there behind you. No, she's right there. Like, oh, okay. I got you. Okay.
This place really does that a lot. I love that.
It was very-
if you're talking about someone, they are right behind you.
Yeah.
Right behind you.
You've heard Bobby Lee tell the story about Chevy Chase being on stage, and he turns over to, he doesn't know it's Kaylee's in the ticket booth, and goes, oh, this guy's like eating it or something. And she like told him, and he was just like, why would I say that? Why would I say that? He's told it before.
I think it's a good lesson though, because even like the other night I was at a club and the green room was so small, but I was like wanted to talk shit about somebody who was there but like had already like was out doing something. And so I was like literally like looked around, looked outside the green room, looked left and right.
Like you're about to tell a racist joke. Yeah.
No, not
you.
I'm
I
like
forget.
searching high. I closed the green room door. I went into the green room bathroom, looked, and I was like, I cannot fucking stand. And I was like, finally, a moment I can be like,
You just had to say it out loud to yourself.
Yeah.
Away,
And I was like,
alive.
I cannot stand this motherfucker. And then told a story about why I couldn't stand this specific person.
The other night, Dawn was on stage, and you could ask questions and stuff. So Felicia, she's like, "What's your name, college?" And she goes, "Felicia." Then this other guy, he was drunk, and I guess he had heard her name. So he goes later on. He's like, "I'm in here because Felicia said you're gonna show your cock." And she goes, "Shut the fuck up! You don't know me." She goes, "You don't know me. Shut the fuck up! I didn't tell you shit."
Yeah.
He's just like, "You're fucking up the punchline. We're riveted right now. Go ahead, Dawn." It was like
Felicia ripped.
Yeah.
He's awesome, dude.
and then he fucked up another punchline, and Don was like, "You fucked it up," and he's like, "I fucked it up. I'm sorry." He got up, and he left on his own, dude. It was great.
Well-meaning guy that's did it wrong a couple times.
It is funny how quickly like somebody
Shut the fuck up.
You'll start working here and you'll
Felicia's
be like,
good, man.
yeah, but you'll be like same thing with Felicia, like so nervous about everything, and then like a week later you're like, you don't know me, why don't you shut the fuck up?
Yeah.
Continue the show.
Fuck out of here.
Exactly,
We'll go get Ryan.
We're gonna kill you tonight.
You just said your last words.
Yeah. Oh my god, it was great. Fuck.
I don't know if I hope I didn't talk about this on the last episode. Tony, remind me. Did I talk about Hormos like yelling at the hecklers up in the belly room on our Wednesday show? I think it was this Wednesday. Do you remember?
I don't think you did, but I think Hormos did.
I didn't come to the Wednesday show because I got too drunk and sad about the Dodgers at the
Yeah.
So I don't think I've talked about it. Yeah, like there are just some people talking throughout, and it was the first Wednesday show that we had since our like back and forth with management, and they were like, okay, keep the show, and then there were like not that many people there, but
Hey, Wednesday, Dodgers in the playoffs.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Dodgers are in the play. Yeah, we'll
Tough
see.
night.
But it's still like a decent show, and there's some people in the front just talking
Talking to each other.
to each other, just talking, and Hormos went up and did a joke, and then really just laid into him, and then like laid into him, and a little like it was not great, and it was a little weird. And like he's like, "Are you a bitch? Are you a bitch?
Are you a bitch?
Like,
As
are you
my-
gonna enjoy
my
the
hormones
show,
are
or are you
great.
gonna be a stupid bitch?" Like shit like that.
See,
I was like,
good. See, that's good. That's how. That's life.
And he's
Life
like,
the way it
"'Cause you
ought to
could
be."
go. You could go. But are you gonna stay and be a bitch or something? I was just like, I was so glad I wasn't following.
What did she choose?
Yeah, I was gonna say, did she stay?
It was mostly a dude. I think he was yelling at. That's why he was yelling a bit, calling them a
All
bitch.
right.
so
Oh, that's way better then.
yeah,
Oh,
Should have called
yeah,
them
so it's
a
fine.
female.
yeah, exactly.
You acting like one of the hoes right now.
Yeah.
That's what I would have done. If I was on
See,
stage.
females think in a way. Yeah, that's terrible. And then I think it was hard to get it back. I forget who went. I think Renee or someone went next. It was really
Whoa.
like. I mean, if you're gonna have a sacrificial
Heard you're a
lamb,
bitch.
like yeah, that's your
What?
Renee.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Yeah.
The guy just gets up and
That's
beats
so
the shit
funny.
out of him.
And then, like, by the time I went up, these 4 Orthodox Jews had come in, and who were
perfect timing.
dressed in like normal clothes, who I like to. They had the the stuff on.
strings.
I call them hipsters, which is funny.
Do they have the Delios?
The payas, yeah.
No, the curl.
Yes.
Yes,
that
you said
what
the
that-
right thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the talus, yeah.
Gotcha. And the curls and the
Yeah,
string.
the
Curls,
and the
yeah.
strings.
They're dripping. And
Man, were they sitting in the front?
they came in. They sat in like the second row. And one of them mentioned being Jewish before I even like a thing, and I was like, leave it to us Jews. I was like, leave it to us Jews. We're going to talk about it, blah blah blah. And I turned it into it. I had a very, thank God they came in because I had a great fucking set. It was awesome.
Should have done a volume contest. On
I
the
did.
Jews and been
I
like,
did Sukkot jokes. I did a high holiday jokes. Like I was just like, I had a great fucking time talking. And they
Let's
were
say
like,
the strings were flying.
oh, everything's bouncing.
Girls are bouncing.
Yeah. Like springs.
Yeah, they put their buddy up on the thing. The guy breaks the glass. Stomping on it. You're so funny.
Yeah, it was close. It was
He's like
close.
Mort Saul or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that
I'm
turned
bummed I
around,
wasn't
and then there
here.
were still like 7 more comics after that, I'm sure. But so if you stick around late at the Belly Room every 10:30, it's a good time. It's a good show. I had I had OR shifts this week, and I had this group that just wouldn't. This was on the
Thursday?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. What group?
Just a group of like young people who wanted to talk.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
cool people.
Yeah.
Cooler than me, and I have to go be hall monitor.
Yeah. Yeah.
And be like, talk anywhere else. And they were very genteel but condescending when we gave them like the big warning. They were like, "Oh, we understand. Hey, we'll be good from now on."
think I know exactly.
And I was like, "You're gonna make me feel bad about it. Like you get it. Like
They weren't
and
even
were like,
drinking either.
they're
They
like
all
good-
had
they're
soda
like-
waters.
It was 2 dudes and a chick, and they were all good looking.
I imagine one of them has like a shiny bucket hat. Like, man, we're having a great time already.
No, but they're just like talking and laughing, and I'm sure they were laughing. They were being funny.
Yeah.
They were the types that they were like, these are like kind of funny people who are with it and together and just shouldn't be at a comedy club. Like too cool for.
You should
a
definitely
comedy.
watch this at home. Because that way you
You could talk over it and like or just go to like a dance
to a
go to the
Dalia
Virgil.
show.
Yeah.
Honestly, go to the Laugh Factory.
No, they wouldn't like any of those. I don't
Well,
think.
if you're young and you laugh at a Dalia show, that's like a smoke signal.
Someone, Lenochi's in the crowd already, grabbing you by the elbow, leading you backstage.
Right, has a clipboard.
Was it John Doerr saying like kites are like smoke signals for pedophiles?
Great joke.
I tried to fly a kite at the beach a few months ago.
That's
and,
wholesome.
It was really hard.
Yeah. Your dick?
I got 5 of them. I bought 5
can't
of them
help
and they
it.
all broke.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I think it was too windy.
So yeah, they were just too cool, and they were the 3 of them weren't in the room at the same time ever again. Like said like after we admonished them, they were like, there was either 1 or 2 people in their bench. First of all, I don't know how they got a booth. They were all 3 in the OR. But they were just like slick with it, and then like. One was always
that's why
gone.
there was none of them ever in the room at the same time.
Yeah, it was just
Only
like it was
2
just
could fit in the
constantly.
booth.
It was constantly a shuffle, and it was one guy for a while, and then it was like the other 2, and it was, and that was like on a very on the busy night where like Hugo's in space and like not, and I'm just like, oh god, I have to.
Wait, did you say it was 2 guys and a girl?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the backdoor lady.
Okay,
PDO.
Yeah.
2 guys, a girl,
Yeah.
and a pizza.
and a backdoor guy.
Yeah.
Cut that out.
Yeah.
Nah.
Did I talk about it on the podcast already when that guy told me that I was a piece of shit and that this isn't over?
Maybe you want to yell at him instead of Lockwood. Just start the fucking episode.
I don't remember.
No, I think what was it? It was you or Willie who told the story about the guy just going, "Yeah, it wasn't for me. I saw you go up. You were okay." That
Oh,
wasn't-
it went up to Willie.
That was Willie,
Yeah, I saw you go up. Not for me.
yeah.
Like that wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
That's so funny. And Willie was like, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
Wait, so who told you this isn't over?
Oh, this guy that looked kind of like Dean Cain he came in with some prostitute.
It was
and
Dean
like-
Cain.
it might have been Dean Cain. He came in with a chick that it was not like a whole thing. It was not like something was up, and they came in And he was like, how much is it? I was like, it's $30. And he was like, well, they said 20 next door. And I was like, well, that show started like an hour and a half before the show or something. And he was like, okay, so it's 30. And I was like, yeah. And he gave me his card, and I was like, okay. And he was like, yeah, that's like bullshit. And I was like, you don't have to come.
Yeah.
I told him, I was like, do you want to come in? Do you want to not? Like, here's the it's what do you want to do? Like, I'm confused. And he was like, no, we'll come in. I was like, and you're sure? And he's like, yeah. I was like, okay. So then I ring him up, and then they come in there, and then they sit down, and they're just like Hollywood dipshits. Like, they're just stupid as fuck. Like, they're just so stupid. And like, this isn't exactly what happened, but this is like along the lines of like, let's say a comedian was like, yeah, I was in my car the other day. This chick's like, I love driving.
Oh, I remember these people. I know exactly what you're talking about. I was sitting right there next to you. Yeah.
And I was like, driving. like I did this like 2 or 3 times.
The
and there's like
motivation to do that is so just foreign to me.
And it's like, or somebody else, like the comedian's like, a female comedian, like, I was having sex the other day. And she's like, yes, bitch.
That's exactly what set you off. I was sitting there next to you, and someone was saying like exactly like I was having sex. She was like, yes. You were like, all right.
And I was like,
he literally just got up, stood up from behind
what
the
room?
in the original room.
Yeah.
And I go over.
Work this
just
together?
start.
Yeah. Anyway.
I don't remember who was with me.
Yeah.
Torio, okay,
Yeah.
because and it starts off, and like when shit starts off, I'm pretty fucking cool. And I walked over, and I was
So all your stories start, and rarely do you end.
No.
Hey, so I will say this.
That's
I
what I'm saying
will say
at the
this.
start.
I will say this because I was there. You were very intentional walking over.
Well, I mean, I'm walking.
You walk like
directly to
Guam
it.
Yeah, you were
with your
technically
chest
cool,
forward.
but like the way you got up, I was like, okay, this is happening
Well,
now.
I'm getting up, and I have to talk to them.
Yeah,
now.
but you were going over there. It wasn't like, oh, hey, could you guys just like that?
No,
it was like, you got to
He was
fucking
like,
do it.
no, it was
Now
not.
it
No, it was
a little
not.
more
Would
close.
you guys please be
quiet?
No, I literally
it's
walked
really
up. This
big
is what I
energy,
said.
Bruce.
Walked up.
Big energy, Bruce.
This is
It
truthfully.
was.
I talk a lot of
God's
shit. This is
watching
exactly
right
what
now,
happened.
Bruce.
I had my hands on my knees. I went like this. And I just went, hey guys, I was like, I just can't have all the yelling out after the stuff. I was like, other than that, have fun, do your thing. And then the guy was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, and then immediately right there, that's when I became the person Morgan's talking about.
It just took one.
And so
push
he goes,
back.
what are you talking about? And I was like, the yelling out after the thing. And I was talking to both of them,
yeah.
so I didn't go over and be like, you bitch. Like, I went over there to the whole table. Guys, I'm not pointing anyone out. We can't have this. Guy goes, what are you talking about? And I said, I'm talking about the yelling out after the thing. And he goes, well, who's doing that? And I was like,
She is.
she is. And I was like, and so I'm just saying, guys. And he was like, what are you? And the guy literally goes, what are you doing right now? And I was like,
Oh my
and I think
God.
maybe at that point, I looked
I
over
think he's
to
genuinely asking. He's like, do you work here? It's like, yes,
No,
obviously
I
work
just
here.
talked to him like 2 minutes ago.
I understand.
And then I was like, look, I told him right then, I was like, we're not doing this. I was like, I'm here. I'm telling you, I can't have that. If you keep doing it, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. And he was like, why are you like targeting us right now?
Yeah.
And I was like,
I have gotten that question. I go, why do you think?
and then and literally, this builds up. And then I was like, because this is the only one doing it. He's like, we're doing the same thing everyone else is doing. And I was like, look, man, we're not doing this. If you want to stay, you can stay and be cool, or you can go right now. I was like, I'll give you your money back right now. I was like, I'll figure it out for you to do that. And he was like, and that whenever he was like, well, yeah, I would like my money back. And I was like, then let's go. And he was like, well, I'm not leaving. And I was like, and so,
And
now
so
you
this
can
is
see-
in the showroom.
This is right in the very back of the room by the fucking server station thing. And I was like, okay. And I was basically going to sit here and chill out. And then like he sits there. I sit there. I go back to the booth. I'm literally not. I'm not even looking at. I can see them, but I'm not looking at them.
of
I'm
course.
watching the show. And he's just like staring at me. And I'm just like in my head, like, what the fuck, dude? And so then he's like comes up to me and he's like, can we go outside? And I was like, yeah, for sure. I was like, you can bar, do whatever you want. And then he goes out there for like 15 minutes, comes back in. She goes, and whenever they come back in, somebody like a comedian on stage says something, and as they're walking in, without looking at me, but while looking at me, comedian says something, and the girl goes, yeah. And then goes to the bathroom. And then he goes over to the seat and then gets up and he's like, dude, we're like, what you did was like so fucked up. And I was like, I'm so calm at this point, and I'm like, I could see how you would think that. And then he goes, we're like not even having a good time anymore. And I was like, literally totally understand.
I understand everything you're telling me.
So he was like, what the fuck? He's like, we want our money back. But I forgot to left this part out. They came in initially and said, is Leslie Jones going up in here? And she was a drop in, but I was like, you seem fine so far. I was like, yes, she's on next. That's who they wanted to see. So they came in there, they watched Leslie Jones, and then they went outside, and then they came back in. And then he was like, well, I want like my money back or something. And I was like, oh no. I told him, I was like, that's not happening. And he was like, what are you talking about? I said,
you saw Leslie Jones?
I said, you came up to me and asked if a specific comedian was coming in. I said, yes. You came in, watched that comedian, and now you want your money back. I was like, that's not how it works. And then he was like, what's your name? And I hit him with the classic, dude.
Renee Lancaster.
Travis. And who's nobody? There is no Travis.
I always say Renee.
Yeah,
I always say Jay.
Every time I say Renee.
I say Jay.
I say Travis
Like
every
Jay-
single fucking time.
It used to be Jay Light or Jay Mandio.
And then he was like,
It's like a nice hybrid.
yeah.
Wellington.
and then he like
Yeah,
stood
I'm
there
Jessica.
and kept talking. It was just like talking about nothing. And I was like, all right, man. I was like, you can go back to your seat. You can go. And he was like, I'm not going anywhere. And I was like, okay. And then he like said something else. And I was like, dude, I was like, you can like leave right now. Or no, this is where he was like, we weren't even doing anything. And I was like, hey man, check it out. I told him, I was like, let's watch 30 seconds of comedy together. And we'll see. Watch. And then like
his coach, his little
truly,
She took a knee.
I want to.
Truly,
this,
no, we
this
watched.
is so from my heart.
Yeah.
This is what I
This is
want to
great.
talk about.
We watched, and then I was.
That's why I'm an opinion on the
comedian
trash bags.
watched the comedian told a joke. The audience laughed, and I truthfully was like, "Did you see that?" I was like, everybody in here laughed, and nobody yelled anything out. And I was like, but what you guys were doing was yelling out.
Yeah.
And then he was like, and then after that, like he could tell what was happening after I set him up for all that. And he was like, fuck you, man. And I was like, all right, man. I was like, I was like, just go out here.
Jesus.
I'll call security. If you don't want to, I'll just call security. He was like, I'm not going anywhere. So I called security. They come in there, they start talking to him. They're like, what's going on? I'm like, he's kicked out. Him and his lady both go. And then he was like, fuck you, man. He's like, you're a piece of shit. He's like, this isn't over. This isn't over. And then he like was like talking shit. And then I like walked out into the lobby with him and he's like, you're a fucking piece of shit. And I kind of the same thing I pulled out of Ryan's book from seeing him do it before. But I was like, you know, man, one day you'll realize that not everything is about you. But for tonight, you're kicked out. So leave. And then they left.
Damn. He's actually here right now. It's not over.
He did tell me it's not over.
Well, thanks everybody for being on this
Oh, wait,
episode.
I have to apologize to someone.
Okay.
Yeah, real quick. So
Yeah.
I came in here a couple weeks ago and I told the story about the guy that snapped at me to try and get my attention, and I was like, "Hey, don't ever do that to anybody." He came back last Saturday, sat in my
Wow.
section for the whole show, waited till the end, grabbing. He was like, "Hey, man, I snapped at you like a couple weeks ago.
Whoa.
I'm really, really sorry about that." He's like, "My wife left me that day. Here's $20."
Oh shit!
Yeah.
His wife left him that day,
That day when
and
he was
wanted to see a
snapping at me.
comedy show,
Yeah.
and he just wanted to.
And he was
drink or
just
whatever.
on one, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah.
So shout out to that guy.
Wow.
I never got
Damn.
his name, but
Sorry, man.
Yeah.
Sorry you're going through that.
he knows
buddy.
who he is. Thank you. That was
Just so he
yeah.
listens.
Yeah, I gave him a hug, dude. I was just like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
was like,
happens
that's awesome,
for the
bro.
best of
Did you
us.
take the money?
Yeah, of course.
And
Would have been
yeah,
funny if it wasn't for her, or 40 if it wasn't for her.
I do like like that guy. I hope he learns. That guy learned,
Yeah.
and is good. And everything is so much better now because anyway.
Yeah, the move coming up on the moment with that move in my head, I was like, "This rocks." Where I was like, "Let's watch some comedy
Yeah,
together."
that's really good, too.
It's literally
You
like-
took this guy in and out of the room 5 or 6 times. It seems like.
No, I was sitting on the.
Dude.
I literally the entire time was sitting on the edge of the booth.
Yeah,
thing,
just-
watching
yeah.
the show, and then he was sitting there, and I'm like, I could see how you would think that. And I was like, how about this? We'll watch some comedy together. And like literally just sitting on the thing the entire time. Like,
Come here,
I
son.
think the best part, too, about the inciting action, like when the lady was yelling, is
Comedy's
we
pretty good.
were talking about baseball. You know what I mean? So it's not like he wasn't just like watching the show and just had to be like pointing someone out. Like you had to interrupt our conversation.
Yeah, we were like we're literally whispering like, "Fuck, man, I don't know. The fucking Dodgers look like shit."
Yeah.
like nerve. I'm like, I'm fucking.
It's like, yeah.
and I
Which
was
is like, ah.
That's what it was too. Is if I wasn't talking about baseball with my friend, the leash would have been a little longer.
That's a long leash, man. I would have called security.
And
like,
also them just having that interaction with Bruce. I'm sitting 8 feet next to them, just giggling my ass off.
Yeah.
Just staring at the whole thing, too. That must have sucked.
What are you doing?
Well, I want to thank you again for being on the pod. It's good. It was a good episode. Thank you. Shout out to Tony in the booth. Joel, where can people find you online and everything?
I'm at Mostly Sorry all over everything.
And you have a band?
I'm in a band called Mad Peaceful, at Mad Peaceful on Instagram.
And no podcast or anything?
No podcast, just doing stand-up. Oh, I'm featuring for Jeremiah Watkins this coming weekend in La Jolla, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday, 1 show Sunday. Come hang out.
Cool. Morgan.
At Les is Morgan on Twitter, at handsome_Morgan on Instagram.
Whoa.
Listen to Big Humble every Tuesday. Me and my buddy Matt Lockwood. Bruce's offender. Or what? Yeah. What do you say?
Bruce. He lied on me.
Yeah, he lied on you. Yeah. I gave you Bruce slander last week.
It's a bunch of
Bruce,
junk.
how many podcasts do you have?
I have 2 podcasts: Fat Jocks, Bag Fries. Also, East Austin Comedy Club. I think November 18th and 19th, and then Boise. I don't remember where, but December 9th and 10th.
You're not hard to find in Boise.
BruceGrayComedy.com.
Yeah, Bruce Gray in Boise, December 9th and 10th. That's fun.
Yeah, that'd be good.
If anyone is listening and goes to see him in Boise, tell him you heard it here. That'd be wild if someone's like, I heard you on the Doorcast and I'm here in Boise.
They're just heckling you like, do Richie.
Could you imagine?
Now Willie Simon, do Willie Simon.
Now Willie Simon talking to Argus.
Now Marin talking to the both of us.
I want to do my job.
I'm at Luke Does Stuff on Twitter. I'm on Instagram too. I don't post much anymore because I'm actually happy and breathing, so that's pretty cool.
Dude.
Shout out to Van Corona. Shout out to Server Amy. And see you next time. All right, bye.
Peace.